But people are saying you must change your name for the purposes of this.
Like I said, we'll be told. Nomination court is coming. We've got candidates, we've got communities, and we're working on it. Yeah, you'll be told. Don't worry. We've got 2 months before the by-election. That's more than enough. That's almost the same period between which the country changed, or the party changed its name to the MDC-Alliance. People will be told, and people have no confusion around who their leaders are. They know who their leaders are. They know that President Chamisa is the leader of our movement. They know that the real MDC-Alliance members, those who were recalled, those who are with them in the communities, those who continue to champion their rights, they've got no confusion about that. So just be patient. The strategy will unfold. As you know, we're dealing with a very sophisticated dictatorship. And I think what's critical to remember at all times is this is not the first time the MDC has had to deal with this issue. It's been dealt with in the past, and we've learned very many lessons. So we can't behave as though we are politically naive. President Chamisa spoke today that we are building the new. We are building the new. So we just entrust that those who are charged with leading our movement will do the right thing. Let's have confidence. If they are saying, take it easy, relax, everything's under control, let's believe that. It's only when President Chamisa says that there's cause to worry that we should then start to worry. But so far, there isn't anything of that sort. So let's bear with the process. Let's also just have a bit of a long view. We are about to get into one of the biggest elections, 2023. And, even though the by-elections are important because every single community must be represented, we must make sure that our eye is constantly on the ball. We're consistently looking at the magician's hands. We're consistently focusing on ZEC, and the shenanigans that they're doing. A lot of work is being done and requires to be done on the voters' roll, on ensuring that all the problems and all the irregularities we saw in 2020, 2018 don't happen again. Ensure that we've got polling agents. Ensure that even the results announcement process is done in accordance with the law, that there's transparency, that it's all verifiable, to ensure that voter registration centers are everywhere that they should be, that young people have IDs and they can go and register to vote. Ensuring, in Match Central we only had 5 women in the whole year. In 12 months, how do you only have 5 women registering to vote? There's a big problem and a bottleneck, and for that reason we're insisting that ZEC has to reform. The militarized secretariat has to change. The partisan state media has to all be fixed. So that is where our focus is as the MDC. That's where the big fight is. So as we do the by-elections, let's ensure that those reforms in the processes, the playing field is equal. Not to say that people shouldn't register to vote. We have to. We have to overwhelm the system by ensuring that we register to vote in our millions. We've set a target of 6 million votes as the MDC-Alliance that we're going to attain in 2023, a 2/3 majority in Parliament, a clean sweep in our urban councils, and majorities in our rural district councils. So that is the focus, that is the grand plan, the grand strategy. So as we do everything that we do, let's also make sure that as citizens, we're geared towards change that's going to completely transform our lives.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But, ma'am, can I from a lawyer's, just to understand,
yes.
Is it possible for someone to patent alphabet letters like MDC?
Obviously, as a matter of trademark law, I think it's on record who holds the patent for the MDC. As the MDC-Alliance, we also know that we're not dealing with a legal problem. We're dealing with a political problem, and we're going to deal with it, and we're going to deal with it politically. Yeah.
And is it possible for someone to change their logo for by-elections?
ZEC knows that it can't, and if ZEC is doing the right thing, they know who the MDC-Alliance is. They know who participated in the court case of 2018. They know. And even when the Mashavire case took place in the High Court, the MDC-Alliance hadn't even been formed. So certainly, as a matter of law, that cannot be the basis upon which the MDC-Alliance name is being stolen with the help of ZANU-PF by Douglas Monzora. Not that that bothers us. At the end of the day, the game is really with the people. You could call us the Green Party, you could call us the Chamisa Party, you could call us anything. At its core, political power lies in the people.
Madam, just for purpose of that,
yes.
Is the MDC-Alliance participating in all the constituencies available?
The MDC-Alliance will participate in every single election and political process in this country. This year, next year, every single year. We're the biggest opposition for now, a movement. We will get into government. We will participate because as a movement that believes in democratic change, we know and understand the power of the ballot, the collective power of citizens when they register to vote in their millions to drive transformation and change. We will participate in every single community where we've got structures, which is everywhere throughout the country. That is what we set out to do. And not only will we participate, but the communities that we lead will and must participate, because at the end of the day, it's the power of the citizens that's going to drive change for this country.
You're going on this election under what name?
I've answered that time and again. For now, we're the MDC-Alliance. As and when that changes, you will hear it from me. You will hear it from me. You've got my guarantee. We're the MDC-Alliance. When that changes, President Chamisa is on record that we're building the new. As and when there is a change, you will be told about it. But that, cosmetic, it's like asking me, what's your new makeup today? That's not what my identity is. The identity is what the party stands for, the cause, the consciousness, the people who follow us, our grassroots structures, our alternative policies, our leaders, and our general belief and dream that we need ethical leadership in Zimbabwe, that ZANU-PF as a system must go, and there should be an end to poverty and injustice and corruption in Zimbabwe.
Douglas Mundula says he's the MDC-Alliance. Yes, you say that you're the MDC-Alliance at the moment. For a voter, general voter in Glenview, the confusion that lies ahead.
There's no confusion. Remember when Ncube purported to run away with the name MDC just before the 2018 election? Was anybody confused when it came to voting as to which was the real MDC, even though there was the MDC-Alliance? There will be no confusion. This is not the first time that there has been, movements that purport to call themselves the real opposition. It's not the first time, so let's not behave as though it is. Let's not create a storm in a teacup. The real issue is that we want to change. We want to remove dictatorship. We want to remove the puppets of Mr. Mnangagwa. We want to remove ZANU-PF rule, dictatorship, corruption from this country. We want to ensure that the process that leads up to an election, the process that's currently being driven by ZEC, albeit in a manner that is not satisfactory, that is not constitutional, that's not transparent, that's not verifiable, that is where the real issue is, and that's where the conversation needs to go. We really, as a society that wants change, have to raise the level of the discourse to that level and assess for ourselves what is it that's going to bring true democratic change to the country. Is it calling a party Chamisa? No. It's about changing the fundamentals around which the electoral process is conducted.
The MDC is a brand that was built over 20 years of existence. So it's like Coca-Cola. On the African continent, the parties with the two biggest name recognition are the ANC and the MDC on the whole of the African continent. So we are bigger than Frelimo in Mozambique. We are bigger than the MPLA in Angola. Right now, if I ask you the name of the ruling party in Nigeria, the most populous African country on the continent, you will know. Right now, if I ask you the name of the ruling party in Egypt, the most popular Arab country, you will know. But anyone from Cairo to Cape Town will know the MDC, will know Morgan Tsvangirai, will know Nelson Chamisa. So those who are pushing us, they are desperate. They're desperate. But of course, we'll consult our people in due course, and we'll make the right decisions in the best interest of the people of Zimbabwe, in the best interest of the members of our beautiful organization. But we can't be forced into a script that we have not written. We can't be forced to have a dinner that we don't know we have cooked it. And we can't be forced to eat what Mnangagwa has cooked. That is never going to happen. So we will make decisions at our own time, at our own pace, because we have organic chemistry and organic connection with the people. We live with the people.
Revolutionary greetings to you, and it's a pleasure to be interacting with you after quite some time. I'd almost forgotten how outside is like. But the most powerful thing is we're here and we are continuing in this experience, the 10 months, 22 days. They made one thing very clear to me, and that one thing is that in 2017 November, the Operation told us it was nothing but a manifesto for increased corruption, looting, human rights abuses, and primitive accumulation. We see those who are the beneficiaries of such a drive. They are primitively accumulating assets of prestige. but they are failing to ensure and guarantee that we have quality access to quality education, access to quality healthcare, proper housing, even proper funding for things like agriculture and many other aspects in our country. So as a result, I think I have to dig more and then return back later to this. I had mentioned about how it was a fraudulent manifesto, the Operation Store Legacy. Because if you go into prison where I was, prison for me it resembled a symmetry of dreams and aspirations. The thousands of people who are in there, most of them, you'll find, yes, I do not condone criminality. I do not condone, the abuse of other people's property or rights. But you will find that most of these people, they are in there because of crimes of the economy. They are in there because they are forced to resort to crime for them to survive. They are in there. Their continued presence in there is also proof of the imbalance of our justice system. Because whatever they are doing, those who are in the contested government of the day, they are doing it a million times more. So for me, seeing them, because I would take time even ask them, when you were in grade 1, when the teacher asked you what do you want to do when you grow up, what did you say? Some of them would say, I wanted to be a pilot. Others, I want to be a lawyer. Others, I want to be a teacher. Others, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a soldier. Others failed to then become, the pilots that they wanted to be because of the system, because of SANPF's misgovernance, because of, expensive access to education, which is limiting and prohibiting most of the ordinary citizens and young children. Because after all we want is a Zimbabwe where every child has an opportunity to learn and every adult has an opportunity to meaningful employment. But then you find that even those who manage to achieve their childhood dreams of being even police officers, even soldiers, even teachers, they are in prison. Why? They are underpaid. They are underpaid and they are forced to criminality, and they are flooding the jails now. Even on the point of just a special mention, it's that message. When I was coming from Harare Central right now to report as part of my reporting conditions, I met teachers, 16 of them arrested. Why? They are demanding better. They are demanding better lives. They are peaceful, they are not violent. They did not violate any law. So it's unfortunate, and I hope that maybe they will get bail. I'm sure their lawyers are working on it, so that they avoid going and experience what I experienced in prison. Like for example, in the D-class section where I was staying, the situation, I can't really blame the prison officials themselves, because they are also victims of this government. They are also underpaid. They are also under-resourced to discharge their duties. They are also, under, they're not well resourced. So you find that, for example, in the D-class section where I was staying, there are facilities for a maximum number of 300 people. But when I left, there was over 750 people staying crammed under this COVID conditions during this COVID pandemic. Even if you check the water, it's a nightmare to access water. When I left, even the sewer systems, it was living in a semi-permanent situation of sewer. We had to live up with it. It was a condition where I understood that, yes, I'm a remand prisoner. I might have rights and I have those rights under the law. But the situation, the material conditions on the ground rendered me inhuman. They rendered everyone in prison, subhuman. And it's the government, they know, and they are putting people in prison for committing crimes which they fought them to. So I think more importantly, what I also discovered is that during this time I had more time to reflect and to discover a lot of things which otherwise when I was outside I would never have discovered. And number one thing is we have to remain resolute and continue with the struggle, because there are only two options: either to continue pushing forward or to retreat. But either way, we are in a fix, because if we retreat, we will continue suffering. So it's rather better we suffer as a means of fighting to claim our struggle. And also, another most important thing is all revolutions, mostly, especially the one we are pursuing, non-violent, mass, based revolution. Or even if you were to take the ones that happened in Africa during the decolonization period, which were a bit, more violent. One thing to remember is that all revolutions, they end in the ballot box. All revolutions end in the ballot box. So it's my plea to fellow young people out there who are suffering, young people in the ghettos, young people in the rural areas, artisanal miners, peasants, unemployed graduates, underemployed workers. My plea is that we all must go and register to vote. And also it's a message from the other fellow citizens who left there. We understand that the right to vote, every Zimbabwean has a right to vote, but they know they are being denied. Why? Because the ZANU-PF knows that people who are inside, they see them for who they are. They are naked in front of prisoners. They see them for who they are in terms of as far as their rights are concerned. It's just black and white. There's no gray area. And the situation is black for them. In terms of welfare, in terms of the justice system, how it's compromised and stuff, they see it very well. If our justice system is not compromised, if they can afford to arrest other people and charge them with armed robbery, why don't they arrest people who are committing it on a greater scale? Why don't they arrest people who are committing it on a greater scale? Because in as far as I'm concerned, armed robbery, it's stealing, using force, dispossessing someone of their property, using force with a weapon. But if a president loots public money, he goes there with a motorcade with soldiers who are armed, and he steals people's money, what do we call that? Is that not armed robbery? Why is he not arrested? Is there justice in Zimbabwe? What do we say for justice system if it allows him to do that? So more importantly, what the message they gave is, Comrade Mark, go and tell others there who have, the capacity to register and vote, to register to vote. And also, maybe it is the only thing that they can do on our behalf. Remember, I was even, I lived as a convicted prisoner at some point and went to the other prison. I would see them, they would say, we want things to get better. We want Zimbabwe to be better, to have a responsible leadership. And once it has a responsible leadership, yes, we did wrong, we committed these crimes that we got convicted for. And we don't expect, to be let scot-free, but as long as we're in here, we deserve to live better, to live like human beings. Because I discovered diseases that I never thought existed. Like pelagia. It's pelagia. The skin will crack because of malnutrition, severe case of malnutrition. And people are surviving that way. And it's because of lack of basic food. But when I was outside, we hear of Bamba Afits, we hear the stories of success of command agriculture. Why then can they feed the fellow citizens? So their message was, you can register to vote, but we can't. So please, the act of solidarity you can do with us, please register and vote, for change. Register and vote for progress. Register and vote for, for better lives. Register and ensure that when we vote for a government that will ensure that we achieve our aspirations, of however varied they may be, as young people. So, yeah, I think maybe there will be follow-up questions. I think for now maybe I've exhausted.
Thank you so much, Marco, for just sharing so openly your insights around your experience with the incarceration. Now, I'm just going to open the floor up to any journalist who wishes to ask Marco any questions you may have for us. Please just lift up your hand, tell us your name and your news house, and we'll gladly take those questions. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Samuel Shakawara from the Secretaries. Marco, can you kindly confirm that there were attempts on your life while you were in prison?
Yes, I can confirm. And let me explain the situation. We were in a cell at night. Someone came and attacked me, was trying to strangle me. But when I woke up, and when others woke up and restrained him, he started pretending and acting like he was insane, though. So, yeah. And the dangerous thing now is if someone attacks you or injures you or commits a crime against you or even murders you, if they are mentally unstable, they won't get convicted for a crime that they committed when they were not in a sober state. So that was the most, that was something that was like very, very disturbing for me. Yeah, because there were questions that I could not answer because the guy was pretending to be mad. There were questions like, is he really mad? You can't ask someone who's acting mad. They can't answer you. Number two, you can't even ask him to, have you been sent to do this? Or maybe it's just madness. So it was just unanswered questions. But one thing I then believed is the guy, after a few days, he then left, just disappeared from prison. So if he was truly mad, he would have taken long or been transferred maybe to the psychiatric unit. But he got through the normal process in court. He got bail. Insane people are instructed by the courts to see 2 doctors, but he wasn't. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am?
My name is Anna Chibam from newszimbabwe.com. Can you tell us how is your health after you left the prison? And maybe tell us about your health. Are you okay?
Health-wise, it's normal. Maybe I no longer know my normal feeling. So, but I'm doing medical consultations with my doctors to ensure that of course I gave I rather call them maybe minor fevers or so maybe it's change of conditions because inside there it's difficult to really get warm food. Mostly it's very cold food, and some of the food, even if I manage to get it from outside like the solidarity we're getting, that's the issue. Then also speaking on that, in terms of my welfare, I would like to appreciate all Zimbabweans or all citizens of the world per se, who stood up with me, who spoke on my behalf when I could not speak, when my voice was muffled. They ensured that their voices became my voice. I would also want to appreciate fellow comrades that I also work with in the democratic movement, the effort and also the pressure in the streets. I even met some of them. I saw them in prison. Some were badly tortured when they were participating in the peaceful demonstrations to demand my release. I also want to appreciate the diplomatic community, because the pressure they made, I would hear the treatment would even change. Because when they were treating me in a bad way, which would be illegal, a good number of them say, we've heard in the British Parliament because I was being debated. So it was something that would also, definitely they may deny it, because I saw a few days later, the contested president of the Republic, he released a statement himself to the effect that we have our own justice system, blah, 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 but I could see that this was just bravado. Because if it were not bravado, there were many people who could have responded on his behalf rather than him to come and respond to more like a parliamentary portfolio committee of another nation. Then also to my legal team, they were very fantastic. My trial lawyers whom I walked the journey with from the beginning until now, and even this week, I think I've been going to court almost on a daily basis with them, and I have 100% trust in them, and with them I know that they are good. The likes of Mr. Obeshawa, Mr. MTC, Chadama, the Zimbabwe lawyers women rights, Jeremiah Pam, some of them, they are fantastic. They're doing a sterling job. And also, my bail lawyers, both for this case, I then had to also do the bail lawyers, Mr. Sem Chabuka and Professor Matuku. Yeah, they made a fantastic team together. So, yeah. And it was because of this solidarity that I also had hope. Because, you know, the most dangerous thing is to lose hope. And you must not lose hope with Zimbabwe. That's my message. You must not lose hope and say 14 does not work. You must not lose hope and say, they will rig. But this time around, we were going with to ensure by any means necessary that we will not let the devil run away with the Bible in front of the whole congregation. But that's one thing that we have to ensure. And we have to vote and really defend our vote peacefully, but in our numbers. Change everyone if we vote in our numbers. But if we register in mass, in our numbers, in our millions, it will also increase the rigging ceiling. It will be difficult. You saw what happened in 2008 when the rigging ceiling was too far ahead of them.
Yes.
They failed to connect the dots and do the mathematics. Even now in 2018, they failed to connect the mathematics. That's why they then, you know, did away with the server and even refused to make it available to the public for verification. And they themselves, if they were to be asked to provide, you know, the field evidence and everything, they had fraudulent papers. They could not. It was because people had voted. So, if we vote en masse, if we register to vote, I'm telling you, the victory is certain. Because those who take the necessary steps to then protect that victory will only be able to do it once we have that victory. So as of now, let's play our part and make sure we get that victory. And you will be shocked with how much even people within the system really want change in this country. I can tell by basic statistics. Check how many police officers are getting arrested for cases like fraud and other things. And you know, they call it shift 4, shift 5. Because I'm sure in police their shifts they end at 4. So they get arrested for parting shift 5. Shift 5 is when they deploy themselves. You know, soft deployment to go and make extra money through illegal means. So, and then another one, if you check the soldiers ever since the birth of the Second Republic, or of this so-called new dispensation, the number of armed robberies by soldiers, they've skyrocketed. They've skyrocketed. So, for me, it's proof that the people whom they use to suppress our rights, the police, the military, they are also suffering even worse than we are. And they are killing themselves, because when the police are going to arrest the soldiers, there are cases, even recent cases. So on that basis alone, I'm very much sure that even those in the system is confirmed by even the practical, you know, results of efforts from the various police bases and barracks, even at age groups supporting there. It shows that they want change. And yeah.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Yes?
Yes, Mapo, during your 10-month incarceration, you conveyed that fellow inmates actually conveyed a message that they wanted to participate in the 23 elections by actually exercising their democratic right to vote.
Yes.
Now, being a pro-democracy activist that has been released from prison, what measures are you going to take to ensure that the fellow inmates, or rather prisoners that are in prison, are going to exercise that democratic right to vote in 23 elections?
Number one, is to mobilize for the wider, you know, and broader implementation of the right to vote for Zimbabwean citizens. These ones, they told me because I was with them in prison, and they truly value and understand the power of the vote. So they gave me, you know, a request, clear request that please ensure that we get an opportunity to vote. Because if we vote, we know what we are voting for. We are voting for a fair justice system. We are voting for better lives. We are voting for better prison conditions. We are voting for, you know, the future of our children that we left outside. We are voting for our spouses and relatives that we left outside. So why I said I'm going to also ensure an increased fight for the implementation of the right to vote is there are also other millions, like in the diaspora. They are Zimbabweans. The constitution is clear. Come on, every year, every election year of the Mozambican election, we see Mozambicans in Zimbabwe queuing up to vote here in Zimbabwe. So why can't we do the same? So we are going to be launching, a spirited campaign. Number one, for increased voter registration. Number two, for ensuring that prisoners get their rights to vote. Prisoners enjoy their rights to vote. Because it's where rigging begins. If the government of the day claims to be legitimate, then it should run its, electoral processes in a legitimate manner for them, for their legitimacy to be uncontested. They have to ensure that people vote. So why they refuse them the right to vote? They know that prisoners know and are experiencing firsthand the abuse of the system. Number one, they know that, for example, also in the diaspora, the millions of Zimbabweans who are in the diaspora, they know that they are political and economic refugees. In one manner, it's clear they are political. They ran away, in fear for their lives, which were under threat by some PF. Then number two, they ran away in search of greener pastures. So all of them can be classified one way or another. They are political and economic refugees. So it's something that I'm going to put my all and also encourage my fellow comrades and citizens, but to put our all to ensure that this constitutional right to vote by if my former inmates, will be realized.
Thank you. We're going to take 2 more questions. If you may just remember to tell us your name and your news house. Yes, sir.
Marco, do you have ambitions in politics?
What?
As being an activist, do you foresee yourself getting the fray of hard part in politics?
No, my brother, that's a very good question. And I can tell you maybe the long and short of it that all I want is an inclusive and democratic Zimbabwe where all citizens' issues and concerns are heard and addressed. And maybe I can give you a brief, a brief insight into how I started politics, how I began politics, how I became an activist. It was because I'm a village boy. I grew up in the village in Shantikete. But however, because my parents also understood the value of education, and also I was somehow, intelligent and hungry for books. They sent me to better schools. Like I did my O-level at High School, A-level at Victoria High School. So from there, I would discover that when I moved from the village to go to school, I will lose friends. Why can't they go? They don't have enough money. Their parents can't even imagine sending their kids, to high school or even to the local secondary school. So it's something that I discovered even when coming to university. And when I did, I think my first, peaceful action and demand for better things, it was in 2008, when in Form 4 at High School. We were getting, the economy was pretty bad. We were getting junk food. So that demonstration was in demand for the better food. And that demonstration, all we wanted was better food. There were no political ambitions to or size to be achieved. Then number 2, even there when I came to university, it was about the access to education, right to education. But also, in any struggle, the people, when we are in a fight for democracy, when we are in a fight for development, if the people are to entrust, to ensure that I know maybe for us to win this fight, like the fight for voter rights, for the rights for prisoners to vote, people can give each other strategic positions, just like in a soccer match. Someone can put as a defender, other as a striker, other as a midfielder. So, yeah, what is on my mind per se as of now is just that we need to free Zimbabwe as soon as possible. I know very well that I may have I'm out on bail, but I'm not yet free. Because since this whole week I've been going to court on a daily basis, I've reporting conditions, strict reporting conditions. So I'm only bailed, but not yet free. And the trials are continuing. And yeah, just like also Zimbabwe, it's independent but not free. So we have to ensure that we get the freedom, social, economic, more important economic freedom, but it can be ensured by political freedom.
Thank you. Are there any further questions?
I'm sorry, Marco, I came late. Can you just, in brief, can you just tell me the 3 things that makes you think Zimbabwe is not yet free? For the sake of our viewers.
3 things. Number 1, military state capture. Yeah, you can't say a country that has captured institutions, it is in no way free. Number 2, lack of accountability by leaders. They behave like they are our bosses, yet they are supposed to be our servants, they are public servants. It means we are not free. Number 3, rule by law instead of rule of law. People are abused. Those who are speaking right now, it's raining, it's cold. We have 16 teachers at the Central Police Station, and they've since been over-detained, if you have to check. They are not yet in court. And we can't say countries free just like that. Yeah.
Thank you. At this juncture, I'm going to thank Marco very much for his bravery, his courage, what he represents for the young people of this nation. I would like to also emphasize the need for all young people to register to vote. As we all know, we are faced with a by-election. The MDC-Alliance, as a political actor, will participate in all political processes while pushing for action on reform. Please, we are going out into the people, into the masses, into our constituencies, into communities to ensure that the people have adequate representation, especially as we prepare and gear towards 2023. As for all the modalities, we're going to relay those firstly to the communities, to the candidates, and then obviously we'll come out to the public. Nomination court is coming up, so you will all be told in due course what is going to happen. So thank you very much. Thank you for believing in the movement. On behalf of President Nelson Chamisa, I want to emphasize every single person. Make sure that every single person you live with, every single young person that you know, every single old person that you know is registered to vote. That's our mantra for 2022, 2023. Let's all register to vote. Thank you very much.